A steam locomotive pulls passengers deep in the heart of the backwoods. It looks like a scene from the early 1900s, but it's actually 2006, and it's New Hope, Pennsylvania.
On a normal day, we usually come in about 8, 9 o'clock in the morning, get the engine ready to go, warm up the fire. We'll blow most of the steam out of the boiler. And then we'll take on water, dump out the dead ash, and then inspect our train, get ready to go with the first trip.
The steam engine was built in Philadelphia in 1925 for the Lancaster and Chester Railway. It ran on Colonel Springs Railroad until the L&C went diesel after World War II. More than half a century after leaving South Carolina, a new generation of railroaders ride the rails in the cab of a locomotive built more than 80 years ago.
It's a lifelong dream of mine. I've always wanted to run steam trains and always wanted to work on them. And ever since I moved out here, we got up to this railroad for the first time in 1986. And it's sort of like love at first sight, I guess you could say.
Enjoy ourselves when we can. I mean, like I said, it's very hard work and it's constant work, and I got to keep our minds on our jobs. We certainly don't feel like we're just sitting up here playing train or anything like that. We're working a railroad, and we've got to have safety in mind at all times.
The passenger excursion goes through the Pennsylvania backwoods, past farmlands and over trestles. It almost looks like a scene from South Carolina in the 1930s or 40s. One gets the feeling that the train might stop at one of the Springs textile mills or at a depot in Richburg.
It's old, and they don't see many steam train engines anymore.
This one here was great. Seeing the scenery, the conductor's explanation of the history that's along the rail route there, and things like there was a quarry kind of place there that they made all the tiles for the Empire State Building. All that's left today is a wall.
Oh, it was really fun. It was a lot of different things on it. There was a farm that has no longer working, but now they're growing trees on the property. It's really interesting.
The Cliffside Railroad of North Carolina bought the number 40 from the L&C in 1947, but it's all in frequent use. It was sold to a predecessor of the New Hope in Ivyland in 1962. Because that railroad was in bad shape financially, it again saw little use and was eventually stored unserviceable in 1986. But under new ownership, the railroad began to see profits again, and in 1991, the engine was pulled out of the shops and underwent a major restoration and has been pulling trains ever since.
We mostly think of it as a short line railroad that just happens to have a tourist operation. Our southern end of the line in Warminster, Pennsylvania, we have a freight connection down there. We service several customers, and so basically we're a common carrier. We don't rely solely on tourist operations to sustain ourselves, but we're very self-sufficient, and we're making our business go.
The whole line is actually a branch of the Reading Company, which started line rails with the canals in Pennsylvania about mid-1800s. And this branch was built sometime in the late 1800s, early 1900s. The line was finally completed. The line runs from New Hope, and the branch runs all the way to Philadelphia. So the branch itself that we have, the New Hope and Ivyland, has everything from Warminster, which is about 16 miles that way, south, and we run all the way up to New Hope, which is the end of the line.
The number 40 didn't wear her L&C lettering long. She was repainted for the New Hope in Ivyland in time for this summer tourist season, a piece of Carolina railroading history fading into memory after a brief moment in the sun. But she'll still be carrying passengers and earning her keep 60 years after leaving South Carolina rails.